y'all, I'm Robyn Hill with 2Egg TV, and we're going to take you on an adventure today exploring the Panhandle Pioneer Settlement right here in Blountstown, Florida. So come along and follow us on this journey of history.
The first thing was that I was raised very poor, Linda was too, and it didn't make any difference how poor our family was. They were somebody they could always help, and they instilled in us to, you know, we need each other. We got to help each other. And so we talked about it for several years. How can we give back to Calhoun County in our retirement years? And this is what we came up with to give back. There was nothing here to draw tourists, so this draws tourists. There's, I wanted to create more jobs than we have, and to give a little income to people in here that don't have to travel so far.
Behind us is the Frink Gymnasium. The gymnasium has a lot of history. It was part of the Frink School here in Calhoun County. Interestingly enough, my husband's Meemaw went to school there and played on the girls' basketball team. Inside, there were pictures of all of the students from the 40s that attended the Frink School, and she's actually in one of those pictures with her basketball team. She and her sister Iris were very much into sports and athletics in the 40s, which is amazing because, you know, most people, you know, don't think of, you know, ladies playing sports back then, but they were very active in it and loved it. To this day, she loves basketball.
We're going to the Shiloh School. We don't know exactly the age of it, but in we have a picture of 1898, and it was not a new schoolhouse then.
Oh my goodness.
This is
The Board of Corrections?
Board of Education.
Yes.
It would, and they didn't mind using it. And if the word got home that you had got one, you would get one there also. It had no paper because people couldn't afford it. There was plenty of paper around, so they had the little slate boards.
Now, I want to tell you this, my experience in the classroom, we have small, what we call dry erase boards. Mm-hmm. So this is not much different than some of the tools that the kids use in the classroom today. Right. The only difference is this is chalk and they have the dry erase, you wipe it, and they do their work. So that's amazing that
we moved that forward.
Yeah, I know, right? But it goes to prove that the simplest of tools in the classroom are timeless, and kids are able to use them and learn. The Red Oak Methodist Church actually was down the road where I lived at. I grew up in the Red Oak community, still live there to this day. But I recall as a child, that was such a figure in our community, the Methodist Church. You know, and one of the things that our parents told us was, you need to stay out of it. Don't you go playing in there. And of course, children that we were, we didn't listen. And I have fond memories going in there with my cousins, playing in there, exploring the history. You walk in there and there's just reverence there. History speaks from the walls.
Red Oak came available to us, and we approached the Methodist organization. The Methodist owns their own churches. The congregation don't own it. So we had to contact them, and they said it'll have to be called Red Oak Methodist Church if we donate it to y'all. And that's the way we name stuff here, where it came from in the communities anyway. So we did, and we're very pleased. We had to do quite a bit of restoration on it because it's sat there for years. And if you want a building to really go down, you let it sit without people in it. And since we're on that subject, our houses here were lived in up until the 1970s, and that's the reason they were still standing and in the good enough shape that we could move out here.
Also too, behind us is the Clarksville post office. My great aunt Bee actually was the postmaster for many years in Clarksville, and I just recall going and seeing her every so often, and just loved going in there and talking to her because it was just a great hub of activity. You know, people were in there talking. That's how people got their news, you know, before Facebook and Instagram. You know, they would go to the post office and see my Aunt Bee and say, "What's going on in Clarksville?" And she'd tell them in a heartbeat.
it never crossed my mind that we were not going to rebuild. And we've had people say, well, y'all going to rebuild? We got more now than we did when we started, so why not? And it's a challenge, but money don't go very far. We did receive a grant from a foundation out of Sarasota, and it was a tremendous boost, and that's what we have worked off of, but it's been going for a couple of months now anyway.
Can people do to help if they want to volunteer? Where's the greatest need for volunteers for the Pioneer Settlement at this point?
At this point, anybody with any skills at all we can use. I don't care what it is. There's things inside of these houses. There's cleaning that needs to be done after the hurricane. I don't care what you do. If you can do it, come out here and we'll have you a job that you can do. I would appreciate any help, any skilled person that has a weekend or a week that they would want to come and help us out here would be wonderful.
For more information on what we've done and seen here today, visit us at twoeggtv.com. I'm Robyn Hill, and thank you for joining us.